What up, my beautiful children? This is Jasper Redden, and today we are going to do a video that, well, I have been wanting to do these kinds of videos for this channel. This is what I made this channel for, and it's been quite some time since I've done one of these videos. It's a programming video, and it's more of like a front-end, it's more of like a full-stack kind of solution for doing a photography portfolio sort of thing. Like what you see on my website right here. If you go to jasperredden.com/photography, you can look through, and I have a justified gallery. So this is like Google Images style justified gallery of all of my images that I have taken and uploaded to Flickr. So I've gone to Flickr.com and I've uploaded all of these images to my Flickr page, which you can go and see. But if you go to here, you can also see them in kind of just a plain right in your face format. You can click on them and it goes full screen, and you can actually slide through them using the arrow keys, or if you're on your phone, you can you can swipe and everything. And if you hover or you click on it, the caption is there. And if you hover on them over here, you can see the caption and everything. Really neat little project. It's very simple and short and sweet. So to do this, I'm going to start off with a couple of links. All of these will be in the description of the video. The first one is the API wrapper for the PHP Flickr API. So you're going to use this. Go ahead and just download. All you need is phpflickr.php right here. You just need that file. The next thing you're going to need is justified gallery. This is just a simple JavaScript library that will justify all of the images that you use here. Very simple to use. All you need is to include these links right here in your HTML in the head, and run justified gallery on the my gallery, on the gallery object. Next thing you need is Swipebox. Now, if you run Swipebox, this is what it is. It runs the full screen. So 2 libraries for the front end, and then an API handler for the back end. Next thing you want to do is the Flickr app garden here. This is what you use. This is what you'll use to grab all of your images from Flickr. What you're going to have to do with this is actually create an app. So click create an app and click get API key. This is so that like they know that you're not going to abuse the whole Flickr system. Apply for non-commercial. This is a personal website, so it's not going to be commercial or anything like that. So just kind of give them some information about what you're going to do. The name of your app, just put down the domain of your website. I use jasperredden.com for mine, so that's all you'll use. And I got my API rather quickly. It might be a couple hours, maybe a day or two, but it shouldn't be too long. But the way the Flickr API works is, this file right here that you're going to include in your PHP script has all of these individual methods, API methods. And once you've got your API and your secret, you will be using people.getPublicPhotos. And what this will do is return this sort of XML response. So it'll have, this will be an array right here. The photos will include array with pages per page total, and another array called photos, or photo, or whatever. And then each photo has an array called with ID owner. We'll var dump the response here when we get coding. But before you do that, you're actually going to want to use find by email or find by username, so that you can get the user ID, because you're going to want this little bit right here for your username, so that you know which one you're using. So, all right, let's get started coding. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is copy over phpflickr.php and justified gallery and Swipebox. Now with XAMPP, I have to actually move Swipebox out of the folder and move it back in, because there's some weird permissions thing or something like that. So let me make sure I can go ahead and reload this. Yeah, it's not working for me. So I'm just going to create a new folder called gallery. I really don't know why this is working. I'm running the project right off of XAMPP. So This is really weird for me. And Google doesn't help. Let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. And let's see if swipe box works. Swipe box. Yeah, that works. Again, I'm very confused at why this works, but why that happens, but whatever. All right, so once you moved all of your libraries in, you're going to go ahead and open up your index PHP on an editor. I use PHP Storm because I get it for free because I'm a student. And we're gonna start writing some code here. So first we're gonna go ahead and create the, I think there's a doc type or whatever. That's really not that necessary right now. It might be for like compatibility options, but we're not, you can figure that out. We're gonna start with writing ahead to this HTML file because you're gonna need to include a bunch of, well, basically you're gonna need to include the CSS and JavaScript for both of these libraries. The download buttons for these are right here, and for Swipebox it's just right here. Just go ahead and click on those. And for Swipebox, it downloads the entire GitHub project, and you're just going to use the source. And for the justified gallery, it will give you the .min.css file, the minimized stuff. So you have to remember to include those. All right, so the scripts for your project that you're going to need to include are, let me go back to the documentation here. For justified gallery, you're going to need these 2 lines of code for the head so that it will load in the CSS and the JavaScript. You have to change the directory to justified gallery, just wherever justified gallery is installed, and that'll be fine. So it kind of assumes that you're going to have the CSS and the JavaScript in a separate folder, but you're not. And be sure to include min instead of .css. I was having trouble with that earlier, but now I don't. And then for these, for Swipebox, you're going to want a couple of different options. If you go back to Safari, you can see right here, you need jQuery and jQuery.swipebox. And what I'm going to do for this, I'm actually going to include the jQuery included with Google APIs, so that, like, if it's cached somewhere else on the user browser, it will load up quickly for users. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. And then you're also going to need this. Also make sure that this is set to the directory you need it in. For our purposes, it's just swipebox/source. And then for this, you're going to want the CSS here too. And of course, go ahead and change the directory so that it's working. Okay, so now we're going to work on the back end for this project. That's the PHP code. So go ahead and insert your PHP element here and question mark, close that out. The first thing you're going to want to do is include the API wrapper that you downloaded. So that's include once /phpflickr.php. Then you're going to want to create a new, and the way this works, you're going to want to create a new PHP object, like a PHP Flickr object, and then you'll run all of the APIs and stuff. This is where you give the API your API key and your API secret here. So I'm going to go to a new $F. That's going to be the name of the variable is equal to new PHP Flickr. And here you can see that it has API key and a secret. I already have mine stored here. And my secret's going to remain secret because it's a secret. Duh. I'm going to blur it out for you guys. So the next thing you're going to do is make the API call. So that's going to be this method right here. You go to Flickr services. People.getPublicPhotos. Now, if you, like I said, when you look at this, you're going to need to give it the user ID of the user. But I don't know the user ID of my own user. So I'm going to run find by email right here and then just var dump whatever gets responded. So for this, I'm just going to run response is equal to command F or $F people.find by email, and I'm just going to enter my email in ren.com. Save, and then I'm actually going to var dump this, and then I'm going to save it and I'm going to reload it. I have it installed. I have all of the. I'm running my PHP Storm project right out of my XAMPP virtual machine. So you can see it's running right here, and the volume is mounted. I can explore it right here. So yeah, that's how I'm running that, and I can just save it and reload it whenever I need to. So I've already made the API call that I wanted to right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this. This is it's the NSID that I need. So here's my NSID, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in a new line for my fun fact. I did not know this. It was really annoying whenever I did find this out, because it took me forever to figure out why it wasn't working. brickfilms@gmail.com. This is the email address for my old account. If I run this, it returns nothing. Like, it didn't work. It's because this account was linked to I signed up with a Yahoo account that was from that email. And so I had a bunch of old photos. It's a Yahoo Flickr account, basically. You want to use an account that wasn't created with Yahoo first. So it was just really annoying to find that out. It took me forever. All right, so we're gonna get we're gonna go ahead and run people get public photos. People get public photos right there, and you can see that the user ID is a required argument. Copy and paste the next couple of arguments, and you'll see this when you go to the link here, API key. You'll need that. That's the wrong one. You'll need people.get public photos. All right. When you look at here, you'll see you need the API key. You already gave that. You need the user ID, which we gave. Safe search, extras, per page, and page. Safe search is it says here that unauthorized calls can only see safe content. So if you're not going to sign in with your API account, then this really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to enter in null here. For here, you want extras. This is where you specify what links that you need. You're going to want to get the URLh, which is somewhere in here. I see that it doesn't exist anymore. Well, that's interesting. Well, you're going to use URLh and URLm. Both of those are static links. So if you go here and you look at a link, actually view image, you can see that the link here is farm5.staticFlickr. This is basically where Flickr stores all of its images for you to see. And it actually produces various sizes of images for you to use, and allows different ones depending on what the user sets. So you want to make sure you get two different sizes, a big size and a small size, but you don't want like full resolution, because that would take forever for the user to load. So in extras, you just do URL underscore m, comma URL underscore h. Then the next argument you want is you can see per page, and that's going to be how many photos per page. If you go back to the API documentation, you can see that it says that the maximum allowed value is 500. So that's what we're going to do. I did not want to allow or enable any sort of pagination for my website, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of photos on there anyway. So I just did the maximum. It'll be fine. And that's all of the arguments that we need for that. Now, if we've var dumped the response now, well, let's reload it. You can see it's this weird, this is this huge array. Each array has the top level array has two elements in it. There's a stat and then a photos list. But in the photos array of the array, there's 5 elements. There's a page, pages per page in total, and how many photos that returned. You're gonna want the photo array from the photos array from the array that it returns. So the response right here, looking at var dump, that's an array of 2 elements. But if you did this response photos, if you var dumped that, that's just an array of 5 elements. See, array 5. But if you did this photos photo, save and refresh, it returns 146 photos, and that's how many photos are listed here. So I'm going to go ahead and use these items, paste that there so that those are in place. Let's get rid of that. And now we're going to write the code that will make the HTML for it. Now the format for using both justified gallery and swipebox is this right here. You're gonna have a div element with an ID of gallery, and you're going to wrap it in div element. Gallery is what you're going to run the initializing the code on for the justified content. Then you're going to run, for each image, you're going to run an a link, href. This is the link to the big image, the bigger resolution image. Then you're going to have a class equal to swipebox, and this is how you initialize your swipebox library. You're just going to run the jQuery for that. And then title, and this is going to be the caption for the image. And inside of your A element, you're going to have an image element. And this is what's going to be justified. So you're going to want an alt. In the alts, you're just going to have caption, because it uses the alt to show the caption that you see on when you hover over the image. It shows what the caption is. And that it gets that from the alt. Then you need the source image, and this is your small image. It's backwards because well, this is the link to the big. So when you click on it, it shows the big one. This is what's actually showing up at first. A link to small image, and that is that's the basic format. So we're just gonna surround the PHP code in the div element. And then we're going to copy this inside the PHP. So we want to run a for each because there's 146 photos in this. So for each, and then we're going to run response as $photo. Inside the loop, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a little bit of string replace, because if you have some special characters in your code or in your captions, let's see if I can find one. Right here. You see here it says it's a sign. Well, there was a single quote in there, like a single apostrophe, and it screwed up the entire page because of the way HTML works with PHP. So we're going to replace that with the HTML code that represents it. So we're going to look for the apostrophe. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to replace it with the HTML code for single quote, and that's going to be #39 semicolon. And then we're going to search the string for photo title, because that's the title of the photo, which will also be the caption. All right. Now let's echo this stuff. This is what's going to put it in the HTML file that is returned to the user when you see it. We're going to paste the href here. All right. So the link to the big file. How about we use single quotes for this, so it makes more sense. All right. So the link to the big file. That's actually going to be this last one right here, URL_h. So title, no, sorry, it's going to be photo, square brackets, URL, h. It's part of the array that is returned. Now, in the title, we're actually going to use what we just created. Call this title. Of course. It's called title. And we're going to actually do the same thing here. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. And then link to small image. So this will just be title or photo URL h. No, URL m. Photo URL _m. Actually, that's supposed to be in single quotes. URL _m. End quotes. All right. So that is all of the PHP that we will be doing, all the back end. Now we need to do a couple of more things before this is working. If we save this and refresh it, it's loaded all of the photos, and if you click on them, it'll send you to the big one. Now, I was playing around with this a little bit earlier, but I don't think I enabled the big size file for this one, so that's not working, which is why it's giving me an error here. But when we and you'll probably want to run or configure your PHP server so that it doesn't display these kinds of messages like I'm doing on this website. But if you don't, it's fine, because both the justified gallery and the swipe box will just show over it. All right, going back to our code, we're going to initialize the justified gallery. So in a script here, just run that, and you're going to run some jQuery here. This is gallery. No, sorry, #gallery, because it's an ID gallery. You're going to run .justified gallery, and you're going to run some options here. This is a simple just array with row height. The row height is basically the pixel length, pixel height of each row. The target height. This is the target height is 200 pixels, but it's not going to be exactly 200 pixels because it's got to do some math to figure out what's going on there. So we go last row colon, and this is just what your options are. No, justify. All of the options here are in the documentation for the library that we're using. REL. This is your compatibility with your swipe box. Again, all of this stuff is on the documentation. Margins. This is the just the space you want between each photo. So yeah, I'm gonna put that as 2. So semicolon there. And now we initialize our swipe box. So for each photo that we did, we added a class swipe box. And so we just add initialize swipe box on each photo. That's swipe box. And we run the swipe box initializer on each of them. So the only option for this that I'm going to use is loop at end, true. So that when you go to the very first photo and you hit the, well, never mind. If you go to the very last photo, you can loop at the very end. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And that's all of the JavaScript that we're going to do because everything's initialized. We're going to do a little bit of style because we're very stylish and fashionable. We're going to, in the body, we're actually going to extend the margins to each edge so that, you know, there's no random space. Because every browser like to put a good number of pixels as margin for the body, and I really hate that. But what am I going to do about it? So gallery. We're also going to run a little bit of style here. We're going to run the background color to black. Because if you don't do that, the space between each of these images is going to be like white or something, and that's pretty ugly. So that is the entire file actually for the code. Now, if you run this, I did break it again. Oh, jQuery is not defined, so that's fun. Oh. Guess what? I did that. Alright, so maybe that will fix my problem. Maybe. Nope. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this script right here at the top because I think that's kind of a requirement. Because for some reason, justified gallery uses jQuery. Yeah, it's still not working, but this is an interesting, like, I have no clue what's going on here. Expected question. I know what this is. Oh, here we go. That's gonna do it for you. Let's see if that works. Hey, and would you look at that? We have all of the stuff here. So yeah, this is a really straightforward software. It's really pretty cool how this works. So you just have to upload the image to your Flickr. Go ahead and make sure that you're when you upload the photos that you have the big size image when you upload them. So yeah, I hope this was a helpful video, and if you like more, I want to be doing more of these videos and stuff on this channel. So go ahead and click that subscribe button if you would. I sometimes make really terrible vlogs, so just kind of ignore those if you're not into those, and like videos of other stuff. So it's not just a programming video. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. I've been going for almost half an hour, so that's kind of annoying. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.